On problem 44, we begin to look at conic sections, and it states, find the vertex, focus, and directrix of the following parabola and graph the equation. So it gives us the equation, y minus 4 squared equals 4 times x plus 4. So first, let's begin by figuring out which direction our graph is. So find which term has the square, and then look at your notes and say, okay, so y has the square. Well, that means, if you look at your notes, it means that it opens horizontally. And what's the equation for that? Well, it's y minus k squared equals plus minus, depending on which direction. It's only one, depending on which direction it opens up. If it's positive, it will open up this direction. If it's negative, it will open up this direction. Okay, so now it's 4a times x minus h. So that is the equation for a horizontal parabola. So let's first begin by finding our vertex, which is found by your k and h. So our vertex, which is h comma k. So let's take our h out. We pull it out, and it changes the sign. So our h is negative 4. And over here, we pull the 4 out, and it changes the sign. So our k is positive 4. So our vertex is at negative 4 comma 4. Now let's find our focus. Remember the focus equation is, well, first, let's determine whether it actually opens up right or left. Okay, so to do that, we look right here, and since this 4 is positive, it's going to open to the right. If it was negative, it would open to the left. So now to find our focus, we know that we're using the positive equation. So our focus equation is h plus a comma k. So we know our h, we know our k, we got to find our a though. So to find our a, we're going to use that we know that this should be right here, 4 times a. And we have a 4. So let's write an equation out of that. We have 4 equals 4a, and let's solve for a. So divide by 4, and we get a equals 4 over 4, which is 1. Okay. So now that we know our h, a, and k, we can solve for our focus. So we get our h was negative 4, our a is 1, and our k was 4. So that is negative 3. So we have negative 3 comma 4, and that's our focus. Okay. A few more things. Let's find our directrix. Since we know that our equation is horizontally opening to the right, we also think, if we look at our formula charts, we know that our directrix can be found by x equals h minus a. We know our h and we know our a, so let's just plug it in. Our h was negative 4, and our a was 1, so that's going to be negative 4 minus 1, negative 5. So our equation for our directrix is x equals negative 5. Lastly, let's go ahead and graph it, knowing the information that we have been told. Okay, so let me draw the Cartesian plane. Okay, so let's first plot our vertex. And our vertex was negative 4, comma 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's our vertex, V. We could plot our focus, but it doesn't really help us. So when you're actually doing this on the software, get the parabola and plot your vertex. Then make it open up to whichever direction. So since it's opening to the right, it's going to be opening this way. Okay, now we need to figure out where another point is on our graph so that the software can graph it correctly. So we can just pick an x value. So let's pick x equals 0. And we plug that into our original function and figure out what our y value is. So if we plug this into our original function, we get y minus 4 squared equals 4 times 0 plus 4. We plug that in right there. Okay, so let's solve for y. We have y minus 4 squared again equals 4. That's going to be 4, so it's times 4. And that's going to be 16. So we have y minus 4 squared equals 16. Now, we need to start getting y by itself, so let's square root both sides to cancel the square. And remember, when you square root, you have a plus minus. So we have y minus 4 equals the plus minus square root of 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. So that means we have plus minus 4. Lastly, let's add 4 to the other side. So we get y equals plus minus 4 plus 4. So let's break that up into the positive and negative. So we have 4 plus 4, that equals 8. And we have 4 minus 4, and that equals 0. So when x is 0, y is 8, and y is 0. Okay, so knowing that, x is 0 here, so y is 0, but then it's also way up here, and it's 8. So now we can draw our graph through that point, and it'll be way up here. And that's how you plot it.